In this video today, I'm going to show you the best way to mix your loop track levels so you sound as best as possible during your live loop performances. If that's something you're interested in, stay tuned. Hey, what's up? I hope you're having a fantastic day. Welcome back to another video. If you're new around here, I'm Ben Rowlands and this channel is all about live looping. I upload 3 videos just like this every single week. So if that's something you're interested in, consider subscribing. Now today we're going to be continuing on with loop pedal basics. In the last 2 episodes, we had a look at the best way to loop your vocals and I gave you some tips and tricks on how to set that up. But we're going to be taking a look at way back to episode 1, where I showed you how to correctly set up your input levels. But today we're going to be looking at how we can mix our loop track levels, because if you've been following along with this series, you will have now created 3 different loop tracks. So we've got our acoustic guitar loop on track 1. We've then got our drum beat pattern number 1 on track 2. And then we've got our second drum beat pattern on track 3. Now it's really important that we nail the mix coming out of our loop pedal for our audience, because currently our loop pedal is outputting everything at 100% and it's a huge wall of sound that's just attacking the audience. So we need to dial things in so they have space to breathe and you can hear each loop as an element of the track as opposed to just a huge sound that's coming out of the pedal. So that's what we're going to do in today's video. So if we look to the left of our Boss RC300, you will see we have 3 faders. Now these are our volume faders for each loop track. So if we turn these all the way down, this will now play back at level 0. Now if we take them all the way up to the top, this is level 200. So it is boosting the loops to double the volume of where they would be if they were in the middle. Now when you're sliding this fader up and down, you will feel that there is a slight click when it hits the central point of the fader. Now this is because this is level 100 and it's the best place for you to place all of your loops. So as soon as you feel that click, just leave the fader for all of them. Now what you have to bear in mind is when you're setting your loop levels is how many overdubs are you doing on each track? Because on track 1, you might only do 1 guitar loop with 0 overdubs. But then on track 2, you might do a guitar loop but with 5 overdubs. And obviously, it's going to be slightly louder track 2 because you've played more instruments on it and it's gradually increased the sound as you've been layering overdubs on top of the sound and it just becomes louder and louder. So you have to keep this in mind. So when I'm normally doing my guitar loops, I usually do maybe 1 to 2 overdubs maximum. So I like to keep it at level 100. The stuff I like to turn down is the drum beat. So we have a drum beat on track 2 over here and I usually like to set that to 85 to 90%. You know, I turn it down ever so slightly just to allow the track to breathe and give it a little bit more space for the guitar to cut through and the drum beat to just sit underneath. Because when you're doing a drum beats on your acoustic guitar, it can become quite monotonous because it's just dead thumpy, isn't it? You're like hitting a guitar and then boom, it becomes quite irritating if it's too loud. Now, if you want to learn how to do drum beats on your acoustic guitar and you haven't already, check out this video over here where I show you how to do drum beats on your acoustic guitar. Now, the next thing I like to turn down is your vocals. So for example, usually when you're looping vocals, you're probably going to layer those up. You're going to either do harmonies, double track the vocals, or both. So you might end up having like 4 vocal loops on that loop track. So again, that's going to gradually become louder and louder as you increase more loop layers. So I like to set this again to around 90 to 95%. So I turn it down ever so slightly than the main guitar riff. So it just sits there in the background. You can still hear it, but it's not too obnoxious in the mix. So if you set up your input levels correctly on your loop pedal, you're very rarely going to need to boost any of your track volumes beyond 100%. If I ever do boost my track volumes, it's usually only to like 105, and that's if I haven't thoroughly checked in sound check when I'm gigging about. I've just sort of went, yeah, that looks right from what I know, and then I've just started playing. So if you set this up 100% correctly, you usually only need to turn your loop levels down, not up. So if we now take a listen to our loops, now we have mixed all of our tracks. We've got our guitar loop at 100% volume. So this is at the forefront of our loops, which is obviously what we want because the guitar usually is the main riff of the track. We've then got drum beat number 1 at about 90 to 95%, and it just sits there thumping away, supporting the track while we build it up. We're then going to introduce drum beat number 2, which is again at about 90 to 95%, and it just all sits there dead subtle in the background while our main guitar riff is what you hear. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving me a like and a subscribe. This channel is all about live looping. Upload live looping tutorials, live looping performances every Tuesday, Thursday, and now Saturdays. I've been Ben Rollins. You can find me online at benrollinsmusic.com. If you want to learn more about live looping, check out this video over here, and I will see you in the next one.